Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. So glad that you are here. My name's Fiddle and Johnny. This is my Fiddle channel and Magic product review. And before I do any Magic product review, you know that I do a quick fiddle tune before we get into that review. So today I'm doing a new song, just recently learned it. It's called Roxanna's Waltz. It's written by Kenny Baker, one of the great fiddle players, made famous probably more so, I think, by Bill Monroe back in the 70s. So anyway, it's a waltz. Sit back and enjoy it. Or maybe grab your partner for a quick waltz. Here we go. Alright, there we are. I hope you enjoyed it. That's just a snippet of it. There's way more to that tune, and you should go check it out where you get all of your music. At any rate, I know you're really here for the Magic product review. And for the second week in a row, I'm going to review another Wayne Fox of the Wizard Magic Review fame, well known. His updated release of Not So Sharp 2.0. And released and produced through TCC Magic. So stick around and we'll get right into this one. Alright, let's get right into Not So Sharp 2.0 by Wayne Fox, and it's released through TCC Magic. Alright, let's talk about what is it, what's the effect here. And before I even talk about that, this was sold out within hours this last year in 2024 at the Blackpool Magic Convention. So it was a hot seller at Blackpool. I think people have been looking for this nice updated version that Wayne Fox has put out there, and know that it's kind of a bit of a hot seller out there. What is it? It's basically you take a Sharpie pen and you can roll it up into a ball. You can splash it flat with your hands or onto a table, and then you can finally stretch it and bring it all back to its normal self. That's basically what it is. It is a manipulation of a Sharpie, smashing it, rolling it up into a ball, smashing it on a table, and making it flat. So it's a very visual type of effect. The way that Wayne Fox performs it is very funny because it's not at all expected. It's just as if he's having problems with this Sharpie, and the next thing you know, it's totally rubbery, and he's able to totally manipulate what it looks like. So, and he does it in a fun, kind of confused style of a presentation, which I think looks really, really nice. You, of course, can present it however you want, but that's the fundamentals of what the effect is. So let's talk about what are you going to get in this box. Now, first of all, I love the way TCC Magic does their boxes. They are simple and elegant, in my opinion, with their packaging. They're not over the top, but still really nice packaging. All right, so in your box, you're going to get two gimmicks. I'll bring these up close to the camera here in a second so that you can see those two gimmicks. But in the box, you're going to get these two gimmicks, but you're also going to get a streaming video through Vimeo, and it is taught by Wayne Fox and is a total of 15 minutes in length. It's 15 minutes, like 4 seconds. So basically a 15-minute video tutorial. That's what you're getting. Let's talk about the instructions. Now, this is going to be my harshest segment here of this review. I get sent products. This was sent to me by TCC Magic. I really appreciate it, but you're going to get my honest opinion on this, despite that I have a review copy. I'd have to say overall, this is a really, really good product and does exactly what it's advertised, and the gimmicks are awesome. I had a challenge though with the tutorial, and so just so you know, that doesn't impact anything else around like your performance. Will it do what it's supposed to? Will you be able to do it? Yes, of course, you're going to be able to do all those things, do it awesome. But my challenge was with a little bit of the tutorial. So And I have to say that I sort of have mixed feelings because I'm a fan of Wayne Fox. I have a number of his products and have over the years, and I tend to really like what he puts out there. But he does something in this video that I think many very experienced magic creators and performers, when they're releasing a product sometimes, they kind of forget who their audience is. And sometimes their audience is that brand new magician who's maybe purchased only a handful of products. And the person who's doing the tutorial often makes an assumption that the person already knows many of these moves and does not put the time in the tutorial to really go in detail and teach the sleights that are required in this. And unfortunately, I feel like Wayne Fox in this one sort of did not spend the time there that, in my humble opinion, he should. With that said, if you've been in magic for a while, you kind of know some of these. If you're brand new, you wouldn't know these sort of things maybe. I find TCC Magic really awesome for a working professional magician because their props are always top-notch, top of the line. I can walk into any paying gig and feel comfortable with the gimmicks and props that I purchase from them, and I don't feel like I'm walking in with like people going like, oh, that's a cheap kid's magic trick type of a thing. And so since I often think that they cater to the more experienced magician, sometimes a magician who's brand new may not always get, in this tutorial especially, the level of detail that they need. And let me go into a little bit more detail. So I'm obviously going to drone, but I hope this is really helpful for you if you're considering it from a tutorial perspective. If you're an experienced magician, it's really probably not a big deal. But as an experienced magician, for me this is kind of funny in some ways. But I'll just humble myself for you guys. Like one of the moves is a flip stick move. I have always sucked at the flip stick move. Don't know why, I just always struggle with it. And every now and then I look in the mirror as I practice, so I can see what it looks like, and go, oh, that looks pretty good. But I don't have confidence with the flip stick move, quite honestly. So, and I'm not consistent with it always looking great. So that is one of the moves that is required, which is probably no surprise at all if you've seen the teaser for it. But he really doesn't teach the flip stick move on it. He basically says, oh, it's so easy. Here's all you do this, and that's the flip stick move. And it's just inadequate and assumes too much of the person who knows everything if they've purchased this. If you're putting out a release and it has a move, teach the move as if you're teaching to somebody who's never seen that move before, doesn't know what the move is. Teach the nuance of it. And always go back to when you first started in magic, some of the moves that are just fundamental that we all take for granted and are so easy, and you've been using them for decades and may have long forgotten some of the challenge the very first time you were putting into learning a specific move. And I feel like that's a little bit what has happened here. With that said, there's a lot of great things on this tutorial. Wayne Fox is extremely clear about, like, I'm not going to present to you, here's a routine and it should be done first A, then B, and then C, and it will always look the same. This is really sort of what I think of as a jazz style of release, which I really like. I personally, every now and then when I get into a jam and I start to jazz, I discover new things. It forces me to think differently, and I'm always finding real joy in doing that. And this is the type of thing where he spends a fair amount of time speaking to the camera about, like, oh, and here's an idea that you could do in order to do this. And then he has like an additional section where I think it's called additional thinking or something like that. And when I saw the title, I thought, well, that's nuts, because that's all you've been doing here about, like, different ideas and ways that you might do it. And he brought out something like that, again, going back to like early magic, that I started using when I was a kid. And it's basically creating your own style of a pull using rubber bands. And in fact, it's the very first type of pull I ever saw or used was, like paper clip and a rubber band and a safety pin. And so basically he goes over some of these different ideas that you could use. And I personally really appreciated one because it's sort of the opposite end of my experience with the tutorial, is that like something I've been doing since I was a little kid and loved, but then, don't use anymore. And yet, because in my head I was like, oh, that's something I learned as a kid, like that's kids magic. Truth is, it isn't. Working professionals, doesn't matter what the method is, it's what the experience is and how you perform it for your spectator. And setting, anyway, point here, he does a nice job on with some additional thoughts on this that I really liked from his instructions and his tutorial. I'm not sure if I mentioned this. It's basically straight to camera with the occasional picture-in-picture. When he needs a close-up on his hands, he does a smaller one, picture inside him speaking to the camera. And it's okay, but you know, it'd been nicer to spend more time teaching the sleight as opposed to, you know, maybe 30 seconds of a close-up and not enough in-depth tutorial on it. So, all right. That's sort of my biggest challenge with this entire release on it, is that, and I find this with experienced performers and creators, they sort of forget what a first-time purchaser might not know. All right, let's talk about something super important, and it is, how is the gimmick? And at the end of the day, this is a great release, especially, as I said earlier, the props at TCC Magic are always top-notch. These are solid, so you'll use this to give it an appearance as if you're rolling up your Sharpie, and you can show that you've rolled it up, and then of course you can restore it back, or if you want to do a smashed version of it, and you've got a smashed Sharpie. Now, I hope you can see this on the camera. I would say it looks like it has imperfections, and that is by design, and that Wayne worked with TCC Magic to have it look as if you were truly able to squash it like it was a piece of putty. It wouldn't be perfect and absolutely smooth. It would have some of these imperfections in it, which I think is a great subtlety of thinking for it and makes it a really nice quality prop. These are durable. I can't imagine these ever wearing out. I anticipate that these should last a lifetime. So 100% on the props that are released in this. And I'll repeat it if I haven't already said it. I always love the props sold at TCC Magic. I always feel like I can walk into a gig and am perceived as a working professional because the quality of the props and gimmicks that I'm carrying with me do not scream, oh, that's a kid's magic trick, or that's a magic prop where that prop does the work for you. Just always a great quality job, good working professional props that they release there. So I didn't mention you're gonna have to provide your own Sharpie. Okay, so you're gonna have to provide your own Sharpie, or you could borrow a Sharpie if you wanted to. That would be no problem. Or steal a Sharpie. Okay, you don't have to steal a Sharpie. You can probably just borrow a Sharpie. You'll need to provide the Sharpie for yourself. All right, so let's talk about what's the skill level. I'm gonna call this advanced beginner. Technically it's beginner, but I'm gonna call it advanced beginner because well, I think it's appropriate. It's advanced beginner. Because, and I said, it's because it's just going to require practice. Let me humble myself before you, is that I've been doing magic since I was about 5 or 6. I did my first magic gig when I was 10 or 11 years old. So I've been doing magic my entire life. So I feel like, you know, got all the fundamentals underneath my belt, all that sort of stuff. I still, with this release, I need to put in my practice time. I need to spend time in front of the mirror practicing it so that it looks good. And I felt humbled because I watched the tutorial, 15 minutes long, super easy. I can go out and start performing this tonight if I wanted to. But once I got in front of the mirror, I realized that I needed to put in a little bit more practice time, so I just felt way more confident that it would look good. So know that if you're purchasing it, despite that it's advanced to beginner, you really should put in some practice time before you're going out and performing this, because I feel like it deserves that for what it is. So, all right. Usually I would talk about the pros and the cons, and I really sort of talked already about what the negatives are, so I'm going to talk about the pros here. I think this is just a fun effect that is wonderfully impromptu and is not expected by your spectator. They will not see it coming. It's very unique in that respect. It's nice and organic because you're just basically using a Sharpie, which any magician typically uses, like in the course of like, hey, can you sign a card, that sort of thing, and you start to recap it, and the next thing you know, you're rolling it up into a ball. So I love that because it's a bit of magic in between the magic that you're already doing. So I think that's a lot of fun, and folks don't see it coming. I think it could be a great everyday carry, quite honestly. You wouldn't even have to carry both of these. You could just carry one of these if you wanted to over the course of your day. When the moment strikes right and somebody has a Sharpie, you can completely manipulate it and squash it if you want to, or roll it up into a ball. So I love that aspect of it, that you can just throw it in your pocket and you're ready to go anytime that you want to. And I also find it's got a sense of humor to it, if you want to present it with a sense of humor, because like suddenly you can smash your Sharpie or roll it up into a ball. To me, that's a funny concept. All right, so I think it has a lot of practical applications, great everyday carry, and you can reset it immediately, and the props are fully examinable. They're props. There's nothing gimmicked about them. Your spectators can touch them as much as you want, and you don't have to be bashful about handing them out. So sort of just another level there that's I think some folks will like. When I think about who's gonna like this, I think magicians who like quick, fast, visual magic with an organic, everyday object are going to really like this, and especially if you're doing close-up, those are the folks that are going to like this. And it's great for walk-around style magic, so really nice. The cost of this in the United States is $54.90. And these obviously are gimmicks that are really, really well made. Over at TCC Magic, they're doing a special. If you combine it with Obliterate by Wayne Fox and Not So Sharp, they sell it over there currently for $99.90 if you bundle them together. So you're going to save about $5.50 if you decide to bundle it that way over at TCC Magic. At least at the time of this taping, that deal or special is over there. And if you're not sure about Obliterate, I just did a review of it last week, so you can go check that out if you would like to. All right, that's it for this. I hope that's really helpful. If you have it or you have the original, let me know your thoughts. Put it down in the comments. Let me know which sleights you struggle with. Mine was the flip stick move. I'm still not the best at the flip stick move, despite how most people say, oh, it's an easy move. I kind of still struggle with it, don't feel confident about it. So leave your comments down there about sleights that you struggle with. And look, if you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Today it's free. There's no charge today to subscribe to the channel. So go ahead and subscribe and hit that like button, because it's always appreciated, and I'm very grateful when you do that. So thank you very much. All right, everyone. That's it for Not So Sharp 2.0 by Wayne Fox and produced by TCC Magic. I really appreciate you being here. And I'm Fiddlin' Johnny. And remember to keep fiddling around with your magic. I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.